You know why men fight each other? Men fight because they put honor over survival. And that's actually an act of comparison. Of compassion. War is an act of compassion, and I'm gonna explain to you why. What is a man, right? Like, we know a bitch is on an ever quest for power, right? So if to be or not to be, a man must be the thing that's sacrificed, right? And that's not a bad thing because in life we are broken because there ain't enough space. There ain't enough energy, rather, right? So let's imagine you got two things, right? And in order to fulfill themselves, they need all of the energy they need. But it just so happens for me to have all my energy and completeness, it's going to leave you drained. That's the real reason the moon spin is broken behind the earth or the earth spin is broken behind the sun, whichever one you want to focus on. And usually the focus of a relationship, the point of a relationship anyway. Well, I guess life isn't really about ever making it to that point, but believing you will. The point of a relationship is the woman. You know what I mean? It's to serve the woman. That's the whole point of joining into a relationship. So the man, by definition, is going to be broken. You know what that means? The speed of light isn't broken. Heck, we're not even broken. It's just we're focusing on the light. The light is the thing that's taking up all the energy. Like, black people are not destructive. We're just a counterbalance. And so because the world focus isn't really on us except through negation, we're going to appear broken. We're going to manifest as broken, as a broken people. And remember, there's just like the story of Noah versus the story of stones in a jar. There's more than one way to describe something. And the world isn't presented literally anyway. A it's a literal manifestation of a figurative language. So man is going to be broken, and it's a service to his other man, right? Because something's going to have to be broken, right? One of the twins is going to have to age faster, right? So that twin is going to need somebody to talk to. He's going to need some counseling, isn't he? Right? He's gonna need some real counseling. Like, we could sit and talk. That's the mental masturbation. Like, he's gonna need some real counseling, right? Because you don't only transgress against people in their philosophy, right? You can also infringe upon their territory, physical territory. So they're gonna want to communicate that rage, and you can't communicate that rage to a woman. You need a man, like a man in his brokenness provides a pathway of sympathy because he relates. That's how we connect. The people connect through the men. Time connects through the woman, right? My son, my future, the thing that inspires me, the point I will never reach. That's why life is so awkward because we're going towards something. We're like perpetually falling, right? But we don't we have no choice because the focus ain't on us, right? Whatever you focused on, that's where all the energy is gonna go. So since we focused on light, even if light isn't, we're not focused on light. We're focused on a limit of communication, right? And because even light itself might go beyond that, it still appears broken to us, but we assume that is correct. And because it's on the upper limit or it's going beyond the limit, it appears continuous to us because for all our purposes, it is continuous. But whatever you focused on is going to leave the other ones broken. The reason the earth and the moon spin, which could be represented as a sine wave, which could be represented as a zigzag or a broken line, is because we're focused on the sun. The sun gives us our energy. We chase the sun, wanting to beat it down and starve it like a vampire. That's what earth does to the sun, right? And the earth is spinning around the sun because we decided the sun was the center. If we decided the earth was the center, Jupiter would be broken, the sun would be broken, everything would be broken. Me and you, heck, we're broken. Why? Because we focus on the earth. The earth exists in a time space that's so distant. The earth appears as this dull lump of stone. All we gotta do is fast forward to see that the earth is just as alive as you and me, right? But we can't. We're broken because all our energy is going somewhere else. When I say focus on the flow, that's why my flow got better and other parts of my life became more broken. Did you notice that? My flow got better because I was focused on that, right? But other parts of my life were broken and spinning around the wheel of my music. It's the same thing when I'm on a train and I want to look at a pretty girl. The reason I don't look, the real reason, the reason I don't tell nobody, not even myself, I didn't even tell myself this reason, is because if I'm focused on that, that leaves me open for somebody else to focus on me. And I don't really want to share myself with anybody else. That's the problem. I'm acting like a bitch. But see, that's why the man and the man's violence is such a blessing because the man gives you an opportunity to communicate that back to the universe. You can't communicate that to a woman. You can't hit a woman, but you can hit a man. Right? It's painful for that man you're hitting, but it's pleasure for you. Like it alleviates you, right? It alleviates your stress. It makes you feel victorious, like a champion, even though you're a bitch for wanting to hit another man. You know, I'm gonna tell you why. Because just like we run away from pain, like you want to run away from your pain and alleviate your stress by punching that man, you can't punch that man and alleviate your stress without causing stress upon him, right? And another side, the trick we fall for a lot of times, if somebody puts some verbal stress on me, I don't have to release it in a physical manner, right? So if a woman talks smack about me, right, and it hurts my feelings, I should go talk to a man because those words, see, those words weren't supposed to hurt a man in the first place. See, those words weren't supposed to hurt my feelings in the first place. But let's just assume they hurt my feelings. I wouldn't talk to a woman about it. That would be irresponsible because that would just transfer it on to another body that it can hurt. Actually, her words were never supposed to faze me because I'm a man, right? A man is supposed to be here what? Honor over self, meaning I serve. A man is made to be broken. That's why his body is harder. It's made to be broken so he can serve his fellow man, right? It's easier to talk to another man about your problems, right? Because even if they want to help you, they have the ability to not get too emotionally involved because they're looking at the reality of life. The reality of this world is this. You can only focus on one thing at a time. That means the continuous timeline, the pathway, the light energy you're giving that thing, that's going to be continuous. But just like while I'm looking at her booty, somebody else is open to look at my booty. That's exactly what happens. The black man is broken is because the world is not focused on him. But think about this on the flip side of that, you know, on the dark side of the street, the other side looks broken and retarded, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Why do white people do this? They do the craziest thing. That logic is broken because of your point of focus. That's why you want to focus on the other. If you focus on the other, we have continuous pathways. The only problem is you don't get to take up all the space. That's the problem. And to something, when something is given, we can have compassion for that and forgive it. You know why? Because we know when something is given, you're going to want more of that. That's the natural thing everybody experiences. So if for whatever reason, even just by the toss of a coin, these people over here experience this, they're going to have a natural longing for more of that. And there's really nothing you can do about that, right? That's the stress of life, the life that God has put upon us. That's why men are necessary. And when we fight each other, we allow for that stress to because it's like at the end of the day, we're really living for nothing anyway. That's the reason why we're able to be alive, because it's for nothing. If we were living for something, we'd probably be dead already. That's how it works, right? You notice how I'm making more enemies the more purposeful my life becomes, the more quote unquote purposeful my life becomes, the more people tend to not like me, right? I can hear their spirit sharpening in the distance. That's how it happens. It's contradictory, right? A man is life's blessing because he allows for communication. It's easier to talk to a man because a man is able to take more without focusing everything around himself. He's not wired to focus everything around himself. You ever notice those self-centered men, passive aggressive men? The reason they're passive aggressive is because they put they self over service. Part of service is sharing yourself. It's not only sharing your mind like the passive aggressive people like to do. The passive aggressive people like to share their mind and then pretend they don't have to share their body. That's just like a baby who feel like if I ain't looking at you, then you don't exist. That's what passive aggressive people are. They're the ones that never grow up. So women can be men, quote. Women can be men. They just have to cross the road. Because what it means to be a man is to have reason to communicate, right? Women don't want to communicate, quote unquote. Women don't like. They're self-centered because they must be. They're the transition in time. Men are the transition in space. So, you know what I mean? So, bashing women, you don't want to bash women because just like you don't want to bash men. But if you're going to bash anything, men were designed to be bashed because we all need to bash something. Like Bam Bam, we all need to bash something at some point. And that's why we fight each other.